So I'm back again with the phone, and yeah. Have you guys ever had like really pent up stress? Say from work, your boss is just nagging you, and you're doing all you can just to do what you have to do, but they just keep on braiding you with like questions or suggestions, but all you need is just the space for you to do it. Or say your significant other is just not coming clear with what they want, and they are beating around the bush, and issues are becoming more complex. Just like stress overall. With a lot of pent up stress, there is issue that comes from it. It's not like specific to anybody. Stress is everybody is susceptible to stress, and stress is sometimes more in others' lives than in others. But for me personally, it's affected my life in a way where it's closed many doors, opened many doors, and so forth. But more often than not, it was very complicated because my personal genetics for certain mental disorders or whatsoever, like depression, come out when I'm more stressed. For other folk, it may not just be depression. It could be like anxiety. It could be hallucinations. It could be so forth. And I'm not practicing like psychology or whatever, but this is just an understanding of knowing how humans react to stressful situations, and just knowing what's going on in your mind and how you personally react. And from how I know people, we all react to stress pretty similarly, except for the whole genetic part. Besides all the bad stuff about stress, I feel like the biggest thing that's helped me is meditation. Meditation is a very phenomenal tool, and at many times it's been my last resort. And what I mean by that is like sometimes my own mind can become so chaotic that it's very difficult to ask for help, even though help is there. And to be honest, meditation has gave me another opportunity at life. I mean, there's other factors which I feel have contributed to this feeling as well, like a healthy support structure. But meditation has allowed me to give myself the access to those things, because honestly, a lot of people, when they're stressed, they don't want to either ask for help or they don't want to do anything at all about their stress. And to be honest, this is a lot of physical and emotional baggage that you have to carry, and having it to, hold on to this for so many years is not good for your own health. Not only is it not good for your own health, but just think about all the obstacles that are put in your mind by different stress that's accumulated over your life. And I mean, it's normal to like have these little mental roadblocks or physical roadblocks, because humans are imperfect. But let's cut to the chase. Meditation has been used by police officers in San Francisco, people who are just healing from cancer, school children who are in high poverty and high crime rate areas as well. And it showed them a lot of benefit. If you really need to dive deep into it, there are the studies. People can say like, oh, why is this not popular or whatever? And I mean, it takes a lot to change culture. You can't just put something on the internet expect for it to blow up, and when it does blow up, for everybody to understand the origins of, say, meditation. So there's a lot of different kinds of practices for meditation, and I want to preface this with saying that I'm not a practitioner. I've done this from just personal exploration, just because coming from my background, I come from a religious household, but I was the kid that was atheist, but I was at a point closed off to all this spiritual belief because I've felt like it was a way of controlling people, so forth. But I went into this more as a stress management kind of tool, and I hope you guys take it this way as well, because it's not something I want you guys to classify as just religion or Buddhism or any sort of kind of like a belief system. Because if you take meditation from its most truest essence, it's allowing you to really, really, really relax your body and to really slow it down. And you'll have sensations that are kind of familiar, like I think I've said before, and you'll also have some sensations which are a little unfamiliar. The best way I could relate it is like when you're falling asleep and you just start to lose that tension, you just kind of feel that looseness. The meditation that I do is a silent meditation, and the best way to kind of like put it into context is a lot of people do meditation to get their mind focused or centered on an idea, whereas this practice is more to just dim down the thoughts that are going on in your mind. The benefits of doing this from my point of view is it's built up a lot of patience and understanding and compassion within my own life towards myself and towards others. It sounds complicated because I've said all that, but literally what you do is you set in an environment which is super comforting, super relaxing. Ideally, not too much light. This lighting in my room is too bright to meditate in. It's nice, but it kind of like makes it difficult to relax. Think of it as like when you're trying to fall asleep, too much light kind of just pierces through your eyes or through your eyelids. So it's kind of like you see freaking red. So, I mean, you don't have to shut your lights off, but if you can dim down your lights or go into a room where there's less lighting. And even if you don't have this issue when falling asleep, you want to have like a much more still or quiet environment. What's excluded from this is, I don't know if I forgot if it was called white noise, but the sound you get from nature is different from, say, a television or some media player or whatever. If you want to take the additional step, set up some incense or whatever, just so then you could just kind of like, other than focus on your breathing, you have like some sort of smell going on in the background. At least it's super soothing. I'm pretty sure it was probably part of the practice back then, but it helps with the process. So after setting your station or setting up where you're gonna meditate, all you do really is cross your legs. You could stretch your legs out, but if you can, cross your legs. Have your back upright. This is a bit complicated for some folks because it's like, your legs might fall asleep or whatever. But for me personally, what I found very beneficial is having like something to sit on top of, just so then my back could stay like upright. Once you kind of like relax into that posture, you start to loosen up those muscles and start to just just relieve those tensions that you notice in your body. And then as soon as you kind of notice the tensions releasing from different areas of your body, you start to just focus onto your breath. And this is the most significant part. It's not really emphasized in yoga or whatever, but it is, I take that back, it's emphasized in yoga, but it's not really talked as much as I feel it should be with meditation. Because the quality of your breath, or the inhale and so forth of your breath, just makes it easier for your body to slow down. You could either look into the science or just like see from your own perspective. But if you have controlled breathing, it's much more easier to relax. So the quality of your breath is very important here. Once you get to that position, you want to focus on a nice deep inhale and a nice deep exhale. After you do that, you want to notice that your breath allows the tension that's coming from your body to be released. Just because this is just a natural thing your body does once you take a good, exhale. After you do this for a while, you want to go back to just focusing on your breath. And going back to why this is important is because once you're in this relaxed state, it's very, very easy for your mind to drift off. And I mean, once it drifts off, then it's not that you're not meditating, but you're not completing that mental repetition. And that mental repetition that you're supposed to complete is refocusing back onto your breath, as opposed to letting your mind trail off. Once you kind of make that mental repetition, you just continue this cycle. And what you notice is hopefully what I said in the beginning, these different sensations perhaps. But again, I want you not to focus on those and to just notice this new relaxed sensation that your body hasn't perhaps felt before. It's something that I'm pretty sure everybody can do if they could kind of like get to that peaceful and calm state. And there you've done it. To me, this is like perhaps the most basic meditation practice tutorial I could think of, without all the spiritual jargon and all the things which add context to it, but make it a little difficult to also understand. That being said, I hope you guys can attempt to do this. It's fine if you don't want to, but I personally think this could add benefit to your life, especially during these times when it's especially confusing.